Hello, Algebra. Today we're going to talk about linear functions, and we're going to be looking specifically at equations, graphs, and tables. So let's first start with what we know. We could say previously in math class. We are talking about, and you are, of course, you are writing this down. We are talking about linear functions. And linear functions make lines. So we know that that's going to make a line. And one form of a linear function is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. When we talk about slope, slope measures steepness. So we're talking about the steepness of the line, and the way that we measure that is by thinking about how much the line goes up over how much the line goes to the right. So how much it goes up divided by how much it goes to the right. Sometimes we call that rise over run. And the y-intercept b, that is where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, pause the video, make sure you get all of that down. Okay, we're back. That means that you have written all of this down and you're ready to start thinking about it. So if I gave you the equation y equals 2x plus 5, and I said, hey, what's the slope of that line? You'd go, easy peasy. The slope of that line is 2. You could think of that for graphing purposes as 2 over 1, meaning we go up 2 and we go right 1. And if I was like, well, then what is the y-intercept? You would be like, oh, no problem. The y-intercept is 5, meaning that the line crosses the y-axis at 5. So here's an example. Oh, look at this. Here's a graph. Y equals 2x plus 5. Make sure you get your graph written down and you are following along. When I graph, I begin with B. That's just a nice little place to start. So I'm going to go up 5 on the y-axis, and my slope is 2, which means I'm going to rise 2 and run 1. Rise up 2 and run 1. Go to the right 1. Now you'll notice, hey, we kind of ran out of room there, so maybe we could go back 2 and to the left 1, back 2 and to the left 1. Notice that all these points line up, whoop, and we get our line. There it is. Lovely. Let's do another example problem. Let's say we have y equals 2 fifths x plus, let's do minus. Get an example with a negative. Let's do minus, 4. Your first step is to write the slope and y-intercept. In this case, the slope is 2 over 5, meaning we are going to rise 2 and go to the right 5. And our y-intercept is negative 4, meaning our line is going to cross the y-axis at negative 4. Pause the video, see if you can graph it. Okay, we're back, which means you've already graphed this and you're just checking to see if your answer is correct. So let's see. We begin with B, and so we are going to begin at negative 4. There. Now, then I move with M, so that means I am going to go to the rise 2, go up 2, and to the right 5. So there's that. Then here I'm going to go down. I could, if I wanted to, just get a third point on there. I could go down 2 and back 5. And voila, we did it. As I'm thinking back to the last problem, I think I may have, oh no, I did that right. No, I didn't do that right. Look at that. The y-intercept should have been up 1 more. So I guess you have to pay attention to the scale of your coordinate plane. Whoopsie. All right, let's do another example. And I'm just going to get rid of all of this stuff right now so we can do another problem. Okay, let's say we have the problem and we're going to try a negative slope this time. Y equals negative 1x. Let's just do that, plus 0. Now, you might see this written y equals negative x. And that means that there's like a little invisible 1 right there and a little invisible 0 right there. And that can make it tricky to decide what m is and what b is. But if you write it out like this, if you rewrite it, then it's right there for you. M is negative 1 and b is 0. I begin with b, meaning I start at 0 on the y-axis, which is right here. That point has a special name. That's the origin. That's the origin of the graph where our x-axis and our y-axis cross. Next, I move with m. The slope is negative 1. I can think of that as negative 1 over 1, meaning I rise negative 1 and I go to the right 1. Or I could think about that instead as going down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. I could also think of that as up 1 to the left 1, up 1 to the left 1, up 1 to the left 1. And then I draw my line and I try and draw it through the points. So that's better. Okay, that's all for now, folks.